Hey everybody, welcome to the newest episode of The Bearded Gamer Show. As always, I am your host, Chris Arnone, the Bearded Gamer. See, lovely, lovely beard. Even shampooed it today, so it's looking extra fab-o. Alright, just want to remind everyone, I will be announcing later today the winner for my Twitter giveaway. So there's still maybe a little bit of time to get in there, follow me on Twitter at BeardGamerShow, and retweet the tweet that I've got up there. It's pretty obvious, the one that says, retweet it for a chance to win. Why am I not announcing it on the show? Well, because I actually film on Wednesday to throw it up on Thursday. But later today, Thursday, I will announce that winner on Twitter. It'll be awesome. Somebody's going to get a free year of Xbox Live. All right, guys, extra bulky version of good news, bad news. All right, so the first piece of news is really just an update to some things I was talking about before. I've been talking a lot about SOPA and did a big controller confessional on SOPA, Sony, and Anonymous's threat against Sony. Well, there's a little update to that. Anonymous, or whichever member of Anonymous posted this video, has said in their description now they are not going to target the PlayStation Network, but Sony's network. Now, I'm not sure how this is also going to be affected by now the fact that Sony is no longer officially listed on the list of supporting companies, but there is just a little update there for you. On to some good news. Now, we have not had a Microsoft Flight Simulator game since 2006, and this is a game that I always thought had a following. My ex's dad, he flies model airplanes, and he actually had a thing where he could use his radio control device with his computer on Flight Sim, and I thought, people always play this game. Well, it's coming back. There's going to be a new Microsoft Flight Simulator in the spring, and it'll be a free-to-download PC game. So that's pretty cool. I always thought that was a fun game back in the day. It's a simulator, so it's pretty challenging, but pretty cool at the same time. And it'll be free. Awesome. Now, no word yet on system requirements or anything like that, but I imagine if it's free, it's not going to be too heavy. All right. Some more good news. Now, I just talked about this last week, that there were certain signs that the lawsuit between Bethesda and Interplay might settle. Well, now it looks like that has truly come to pass. Now, we haven't had official press release confirmation, but from pretty sound sources saying that, yes, they have settled out of court just before the case actually went to trial. Now, this was all over. Interplay had gotten license from Bethesda to make a Fallout MMO. But Bethesda said, okay, because they bought it from Interplay, they said, okay, but you can't use any of the assets that were used in any of the previous Fallout games. So how do you make it a Fallout game if it can't look anything or sound anything or be anything like another Fallout game? So obviously that was kind of an unfair thing to ask, and so they went back and forth. But the good thing is now they're going to settle. That means they can stop lawyering about and get back to making video games. Now, the actual details of the settlement won't be clear until later in the month. And, who knows what this could have turned out to be. It could be that the Fallout MMO has gone poof, and that would kind of suck, but that could be part of the settlement. So we're all going to have to anxiously wait and find out exactly what the terms of the settlement were, if the Fallout MMO is still going to happen or not. So, all right, some funny news. Now, MMORPGs are social things by nature, and almost every MMORPG you can find the option to dance. Yes, you can make your little avatar guy dance. Well, somebody's recently discovered that in Star Wars The Old Republic, you see this video here, that if you're in combat and decide to instigate your dance moves, just bust a move in the middle of a combat, you become invincible. Yeah, whoops. Not to mention, it looks hilarious. I mean, come on. You're doing the moonwalk while fighting a Jedi or a Sith. I mean, that's just awesome. But I'm sure it's going to be patched out very quickly. But for those of you playing Old Republic, give it a try. Go and, break it down while you're trying to fight something, because why not, right? You can't get hurt. It's awesome and funny. All right, some news. I'm going to say it's titillating if you're into that sort of digital thing. The ESRB has come out with some early reporting on the upcoming Soul Calibur 5 games due out at the end of the month. Now, most people who have played a Soul Calibur game are used to, giant jiggling boobs and butts, and, all the women, especially Ivy, is I don't know, Fs or something, massive things that she's carrying around with her while kicking people's asses. Well, they have now said that some female fighters wear outfits that reveal large amounts of jiggling cleavage and portions of their buttocks. Now, but here, you expect that. But this is the part that's new to Soul Calibur 5. On the character creation menu, players can augment fighters' breast sizes and manipulate the camera to zoom in on their bodies. Yeah, so how huge are we talking here? Are we talking male, female? I don't, it should be weird, it should be funny, and for certain people it'll be way, way too exciting. But there you go. So I don't really know how to categorize that as bad or good. I guess it really depends on who you are. For me, it's just, All right, guys, enough of that. Controller confessional time. Now, I've talked a lot about SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act, and I'm going to keep talking about it. If you're tired of hearing about it, tough. This is just a huge, huge deal. I understand that this bill is truly aimed at combating piracy. It's combating BitTorrent sites, Usenet sites that are well known for pirating games and sharing games and other properties, movies, music, all kinds of things like that. But what's wrong with SOPA is it's too general. It doesn't have enough context. The fact is you can show any sort of copywritten material and someone could come against you. Now let me give you an example of what could happen per se. Jim Sterling has been very vocal about fighting this. Well, another thing about Jim Sterling that a lot of people know who've read his stuff, he has sort of a contentious relationship with Sega. I'm not sure if they truly don't like each other, if they just have fun bantering back and forth with each other, but nevertheless, if he were to use an image from a Sega game, which normally would be publicly available for distribution, Sega could then come back and say, oh, that's a copywritten image, shut down his ability to gain ad revenues, do all sorts of nasty things. Similarly, if you were talking about game reviews, when we write up game reviews, we're putting up footage of gameplay or at least screenshots of the gameplay. And what if we give a game a bad review and the publisher decides we didn't like that and they go after us, specifically who wrote that bad review because they didn't like the score, take away the ad revenue, try to take the site down. You see, there's not enough context. It's too broad. While I understand what it's aimed at, it's too much of a shotgun blast, and it gives way too much freedom. Well, I recently discussed, Sony, Nintendo, EA backed away from support, but the ESA, Entertainment Software Association, which they are all members of, is still officially supporting it. And I've been trying to get a hold of them. Well, the ESA has released an official statement. I'm going to put this on the screen so you can read it as I read it with you, all right? It says, as an industry of innovators and creators, we understand the importance of both technological innovation and content protection, and do not believe the two are mutually exclusive. Rogue websites, though singularly devoted to profiting from their blatant illegal piracy, restrict demand for legitimate video game products and services, thereby costing jobs. Our industry needs effective remedies to address this specific problem, and we support the House and Senate proposals to achieve this objective. We are mindful of concerns raised about a negative impact on innovation. We look forward to working with the House and Senate and all interested parties to find the right balance and to find useful remedies to combat willful wrongdoers that do not impede lawful product and business model innovation. So that's kind of what I was wanting to know, is why are they still standing behind it? And from that, it really does make sense. They, like what I think the intention of SOPA is aimed in the right direction. It's aimed at combating piracy. The problem is in the wording of SOPA, and that has got to be changed. That has got to be fixed. I am very much not for online piracy of games. I don't care what some commenters may say about renting PC games or that you don't have that option or whatnot. Piracy is piracy, and it's stealing, and you don't go about changing this by breaking those rules. But I understand what the ESA is trying to do and what they're trying to say, and I hope what they're going to work toward is fixing this bill, helping the House and Senate fix SOPA so that it's something that's beneficial and doesn't stymie innovation and creativity and the livelihood of a lot of people who make their living on the internet. So let's hope that they really are as in the right place as this statement says they are. Okay, enough about SOPA for this episode at least. We'll see how that goes. Segment you don't see very often, Nerds in the News. Now, over the last week or so, there's been several key departures from some pretty major gaming websites. I reported earlier, I think it was last week, on 3 big names from Joystick leaving, and then earlier this week, Brian Crescente, longtime editor-in-chief of Kotaku, left. And now we find out exactly what's going on. There's sort of this new super site. I swear it's like this dream team of guys coming together for this site that currently the placeholder name is Vox Media. And they're apparently building a new gaming website. In the interim, until the actual site gets launched, they're all going to be writing pieces for The Verge. Now, just get a load of this lineup, all right? From Joystick, you got Chris Grant, Justin McElroy, and Griffin McElroy, all right? And Arthur Guise. Then, like I said, Kotaku former EIC Brian Crescente, former Escapist editor-in-chief Russ Pitts, former Yugo editors Chris Plante, I don't know, and Russ Frushtick. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. All of these guys have been hired away to this thing. It's just a huge, huge pool of talent and a very curious way to start up a new site. Now, they've done really well, gotten like 4 million hits in the first month or so, and really just ramped up what they're doing, but they're going to launch this new site, and apparently that's where they've all gone. So very curious to see what this site does with such big talent all under one roof. Might have too many chefs in the kitchen, we'll have to see, but all great talented guys. I wish them nothing but the best. All right, guys, finish up with Nerd TV. Now, this video is probably fake. If it is fake, it's still pretty cool. If it's not fake, it's freaking awesome, all right? Now, this video supposedly comes to us from the Japan Institute of Science and Technology, though the logo that they show at the beginning of the video doesn't really jive with what I was able to look up online for this Japan Institute of Science and Technology. So that's another thing that makes me go, I don't know. But what they've done is they have built a miniature and functioning Wipeout track, including the little vehicles, and they actually hover and go around electromagnetically. And they're saying, it could be a great thing for public transportation and whatnot. But honestly, it just looks really, really cool. It's like all those racetracks you grew up with as a kid. This is the one you really wanted and didn't know you really wanted. So check out the video, enjoy it. Let me know if you think it's real or fake, and we'll see you next time.